This is the Nassauman Hockey Podcast with James Nichols and John Zella. Okay, and welcome back to another episode of the Nassauman Hockey Podcast. James Nichols and John Zella here as always, and joining us in just a few short moments, we have a special guest today, former NFL star, Super Bowl champion, and Pro Bowler Damien Woody. Speaking of the NFL, let's get to our sponsors, brought to you by DraftKings. The NFL is back, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is giving all new players a can't-miss offer for Week 1. Bet just $1 on any NFL game during the first week of the season and receive $200 in free bets instantly, no matter what. Take advantage of this limited-time offer now. You heard that right. DraftKings is giving all new players $200 in free bets instantly when you place a bet of $1 or more on any Week 1 game. Head to the DraftKings Sportsbook app now to check out all the great promotions and daily odds boosts. Plus, you can make every game a big game with the same game parlays. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code THPN to receive $200 in free bets when you place a $1 bet on any Week 1 game. That's promo code THPN to get your free $200 in free bets instantly for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 years or older, New Jersey, Indiana, and Pennsylvania. New customers only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for more details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or in Indiana, 1-800-9-WITH-IT. And now, let's get to our guest, Damien Woody. Joining us today is a man who needs no introduction, but we will do one anyway. We're welcomed by a very special guest to Nassauman Hockey Podcast. He's a two-time Super Bowl champion, a Pro Bowl selection, played for the New England Patriots, Detroit Lions, and New York Jets, and is currently an NFL analyst on ESPN, where you can see him on Sportscenter, NFL Live, and other shows. Additionally, and perhaps most importantly, he's now a big-time New York Islanders fan. Thanks for coming on the show today, Damien Woody.
Thank you guys for having me on.
How you doing, man? What's going on? How's life been? With football starting up, and more importantly, the Jets. The Jets are back.
Everything is good, man. Everything is good. We football season is right around the corner. Obviously, training camp is going on. A lot of preseason games, and as far as the Jets are concerned, Zach Wilson is looking really good. He's really been the talk of the town, and I know Zach has been to a couple of the Islanders game at the Coliseum, and so I know a lot of Jet fans are pumped about that. So life is pretty good right now.
When you were with the Jets, did you do training camp up in Cortland? Were they doing it at that time? I'm just north of there a little bit, so I'm familiar with the hubbub that is the Jets coming into town.
Yeah, it was my head coach at the time, Rex Ryan. He was a big believer in getting the team away from kind of the facility and going to a location where guys could bond and stuff. And we also did the HBO Hard Knocks series from Cortland, which in my opinion was the best one. Was the best one out of all of them, and it was tremendous area. The people in the community were fantastic. The fans were great. I always said that the air was a lot cleaner up there in Portland. So it was a good place to have training camp.
Yeah, we have some wide open spaces, and as long as it's not farm season, it smells pretty good most of the time.
All right, so we wanted to get right into the fold of the your experience with the New York Islanders, and the first thing we wanted to know, and I'm sure you've told the story before, but what was it that drew you to the Islanders?
Yeah, so basically what was happening, I was sitting on my couch during football season back in 2019, and basically the whole New York sports scene was just stunk. Like, it was just awful. Like, the Jets and Giants were awful. The Knicks were awful. Everybody was just awful, except one team. One team. I had a fan that tweeted me and said, "Hey, D Wood, you need to go check out the Islanders," because at the time, he tweeted that they were on like an 8 or 9 game winning streak. And then the Islanders chimed in off of that tweet and was like, "Hey," and they just started waving with the emoji saying, "Yeah, come check us out over here. We're doing pretty good over here." And then one thing led to another, and then they invited me out to a game at the Coliseum. And my first game was the Toronto Maple Leafs with John Tavares. So it was Yeah, listen, it was an unbelievable experience. The Coliseum was rocking, and I brought my whole family out, and I was hooked.
But before we get to other things, how did you feel about what happened with Tavares, the fan and the vitriol and all that? That's a big. There's actually, I saw something today, and I haven't had a chance to look too deep into it. Like that's going to go into that game and the toxic masculinity, whatever, all that kind of stuff. And I don't think that you need to comment on that necessarily. But like, what did you think about the atmosphere and that kind of thing? Was that like that much? That's a first for a first game. That's a big shock.
Yeah, I mean, because I kind of solicited the advice of the fans on Twitter. What game should I go to? What should be my first game? And everybody kept coming back. Dude, go check out Toronto Maple Leafs game. You got to go to the Toronto Maple Leafs game because of Tavares, coming back to the Coliseum. And I'm just thinking, I'm like, okay, well, listen, the fans know better than I do. So if I need to go check out the Toronto Maple Leafs, hell, I need to go check them out. So that was my first game, and it was a hell of an experience.
I'm glad that the Islander fans didn't scare you off after that. Because I mean, what an experience.
Well, you know what? The thing is like, what I've come to find out is the Islander fans are like they're Jet fans. They're just so much energy, so much passion about their team.
It's the sadness.
And it's just great.
It's the sadness from all the losing, and then we're letting it out positively. At least Islander fans are.
Well, I mean, but here's the difference. The Islanders had, 4 straight years of winning the World Cup back in the 80s. I mean, the Jets can't say anything about that. So, listen, I know there was a lot of, in between time where things kind of stunk, but they're back. They're back, and that's all that matters.
They're definitely back. You have 7 beautiful children, and you're often accompanied to these Islander games. Which one of them have grown in attachment to the Islanders the most, or hockey the most, if any?
Listen, I have, I have 4 girls and 3 boys, and I would honestly say all 4 of my girls love hockey. They love it. They love that. Yeah, they love it. I would say all 4 of them have become really attached to the sport of hockey. They could care less about football. Like Dad played football for 12 years, and they're like, Dad, we don't care. But you take them to the Coliseum for the playoff game, and they're all pumped and excited and all of those things. So they've become like huge hockey fans, and obviously credit to the Islanders organization for being top notch and classy. But yeah, my girls they're big Islanders fans.
I love that, and that's amazing that it's funny to hear that instead of football they grew more into hockey and they couldn't care anything about it. Much like my wife, she doesn't care much about football either, but I can take her to a hockey game. Something that we were curious to know. What was it like seeing all of the Jets players at the Islanders playoffs games this year? It was a big the fans were very, very receptive to it. Dan Feeney got into the fun. What did you think of all that?
No, I thought it was great because actually that was like the first time meeting a lot of those guys because a lot of those guys were new to the team, whether it be, they were rookies or they were just veterans that just signed with the New York Jets. So that was actually like my first time meeting those guys. And obviously the atmosphere was crazy. I tell people all the time, the Coliseum is one of the most fun atmospheres in any sport. And I've had a blast, but those guys, I just love seeing like other sports teams really root for each other. You saw the Jets kind of embrace the Islanders and whether it was, head coach Robert Saleh and the players, it was just a really fun environment and fun to see those guys at the Coliseum.
I haven't seen that before. Not like that was, there were 10, 12 guys, right?
Oh, it was more than that. They had like a group of like 20. I think at least 20 guys that they were just pounding back beers, and obviously with Feeney with his pounding beers and his mullet. That was
mullet. Oh my god, that's more hockey than you know.
Yeah. Oh man, that mullet is sweet, man, and that was kind of the rage and as far as the playoffs is concerned.
Yeah, that was something that, and they actually partnered up, the Jets and the Islanders, and they made that shirt for Dan Feeney and everything, and
Yep.
you could see the gifs of him waving the flow in slow motion everywhere now, and Islander fans use it all the time. And now when they see him on the field, Islander fans they rave for him. So he's looking pretty good this preseason. And you brought up the Coliseum. What was your when you got to the Coliseum for the first time? What was your initial reaction to this is the Coliseum, or was it like, oh, this place is cool?
Well, I just looked and like, this is kind of an intimate setting. I try to be, graceful about it because obviously in today's age, a lot of these sports teams have new arenas and top-notch facilities, and we know the Coliseum is it really is an intimate, setting where the fans are right on top of the ice. And like for me, the environment was just crazy because the fans were going crazy. The Islanders, as an organization, just really embraced it and ramped it up and played off of it. And man, just being in the Coliseum during the playoffs, it was just a totally different experience. I honestly, it's unlike anything that I've experienced. And I'm a guy that won 2 Super Bowls, but everyone used to say playoff hockey is just different, and it really is. Playoff hockey is a different environment, and I'm just glad that I was able to experience it last year.
It's funny because you said it's like experience like no other. And my next question was going to be, can you compare the Coliseum to an NFL stadium? Is there one that maybe is like similar in resignation? But it sounds like you can't really do that, can you?
Not right now because all these, there's so many new stadiums in the National Football League. There's nothing like it in the NFL. NFL has a lot of, there's a lot of loud places in the NFL. Arrowhead Stadium, Seattle is nuts. Some of these places that have indoor stadiums, New Orleans, but the Coliseum is not like a new facility. Obviously
Right.
with the Islanders moving into UBS Arena next season, that place is, some people called it a dump, but it was just raucous in there.
Right.
And
It was
that's
our
what
dump.
you want. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Everyone was like, you know what? People might talk trash about it, but that's our trash. That's our dump. So, and the people embraced it. So, I was just along for the ride, man. And that place is crazy.
Right.
Crazy.
I think for a lot of fans, and James and I included, we've just been going there for so long that that's just where you went to go see the Islanders. We went there when they were terrible and tickets were $13, and we went there during playoff games when you had the opportunity. So, when it closed for the first time, it was emotional for people. People kind of went crazy at Game 6 against the Caps in 2015, and it's something that I'm glad people got to experience again. For one last time, but. Yeah, it was like, don't come to my house and tell me my art looks like shit. I know my art looks like shit. Like it's mine. I have it. Like, you don't need to tell me that. So don't tell me it's a dump. I've been there. The lines are long. I joked that the hot dogs were probably old. Who knows? It didn't matter. That was our lived experience. That was our shared collective history and traditions kind of in this. I don't know. It's like an old house that had character. There were stories there, and now we can kind of rewrite what the future is and more history at UBS.
I totally agree. I love it. I love that mentality. Like, damn it, this is our house. I don't give a shit about what anybody else says. This is our piece of shit, and we're gonna roll with it.
Yeah. And the other fans, they're a little bit of the stepchild of the NHL, especially when they were bad and the fisherman years and all sorts of stuff. So when they do really well, is the Coliseum the best old barn in the league? But when they're not doing well, it's like they're talking about the leaks and whatever is going on. And so it's amazing how the media kind of flips it around depending on how they're doing. But yeah, our dump, it's sad to see it go, but it was time.
Yeah, it was definitely time. It's going to be an exciting year next year in the UBS Arena. But as of right now, all is quiet as far as what's going on behind the scenes and with Lou Lamoriello. I don't know if you've had the pleasure of meeting him, but for you, what do you think of his strategy in keeping things quiet, right? Some of our players aren't signed yet. It's kind of assumed that they might be. You've been in the business of sports. What do you make of Lou Lamoriello as the general manager being so secretive about how he goes about his business?
It kind of reminds me of my former team, the New England Patriots. Everything in New England is very secretive, very close to the vest. Little information gets out. And when I look at the structure of the New York Islanders with Lou and obviously Barry Trotz, man, there's not a better combination in the National Hockey League than those two guys. And I've told fans, a lot of fans, about when you have competent people running your organization, you should have a stogie and just sit back, relax, and just watch things unfold. Because I've been a part of great organizations like New England and my time with the Jets, but I've also been a part of shitty organizations that didn't know what the hell they were doing. Like when I played with the Detroit Lions. And let me tell you something. No one wants to be part of a shitty organization. And that's far from what the Islanders are right now. So, I just tell fans, man, look, you guys are blessed to have like those people running your organization. Sit back, relax. Those guys know what the hell they're doing, and just watch as the Islanders go back into the postseason again next year.
That's the clip. 1450. Yeah. That's the clip. We're gonna send.
I just wrote it down. I wrote it down. I said, I'm clipping this. This is the clip of the show. What a great line. That was amazing. So to further, harp on that, is there a Lou Lamoriello of the NFL, or is he one of a kind?
Well, we have some really good general managers in the National Football League. One thing I would say is a lot of these guys are young. Lou is older. He's been there, done that. Like, he's just real seasoned. So I wouldn't say, I don't think there's a Lou Lamoriello in the NFL. He's one of one in the NHL. Like I said, we got a lot of young guys, but man, to win back-to-back general manager of the year, do people know how hard that shit is? That shit is hard.
Yeah.
That shit is hard to do. So that's what I'm saying, man. Islanders fans thank your lucky stars that you have competent people running your organization.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Sticking with the business side of things, as we mentioned, you're a two-time Super Bowl champion with the New England Patriots. What was it like when you signed with the New York Jets in 2008 after playing for New England? Was it tough to jump ship to? I mean, there was a segue. You had the Detroit Lions in between, but was it tough when you saw the Jets were interested in you and you were like, well, I used to play for the Patriots, so this might be a little weird. But was it interesting to go to your rival after a few years?
Actually, it wasn't, because there's a lot of history between the Patriots and the Jets. A lot of guys kind of jump ship, to the other side throughout the years. And at the time, Eric Mangini was the head coach of the Jets. He was in New England when I was in New England. So I knew the culture. I knew exactly what he was doing in New York. So when when I took my free agent visit out to Hofstra to meet with Eric Mangini, it was like, he said two words. He was like, dude, you know what I do. You know how we're going to run things here. Either you're going to sign here or not. And I'm like, well, shit, I wouldn't have taken this visit. You know I'm going to sign here. He was my first and only visit. And I had 5 other teams that was interested, but I'm like, I'm just going to sign here because I feel I know this. I know the structure. I know the culture. This is going to be the best fit for me. And I was off and running.
It's funny. This is my football knowledge. I immediately thought of Bill Parcells. That was that's the last time I've paid attention, was when he was in the league. And he went from the Giants. He was in New England. He went to the Jets. That, I guess that happens.
Yeah,
all
see,
the time.
that's what I'm talking about. There's it's all this cross pollinating, because obviously it started with Parcells. Parcells went to New England. Then he went to the Jets, and then Bill, Coach Belichick did the same thing. So that's why it was, players from the Patriots and the Jets, they're really familiar with each other's organization, because a lot of the guys played for both organizations.
Is the camaraderie that you see in the NHL, and it might be different because of the way you come up in both leagues. In the NHL, it's a lot of these guys playing college or juniors or for international teams, and a lot of them know one another quite well. Is that the same in the NFL? I've never had an opportunity to ask this question before. Is that like the same? Like everyone knows everybody pretty well?
Yeah, we always say in the NFL, it's a fraternity. It's a special fraternity. Because think about, how many college football players there are. I mean, there's thousands and thousands of college football players. Well, when you get to the NFL, there's only 1,600 players. So, everyone knows each other. We're not saying everyone is buddy-buddy, but everyone knows each other. A lot of people know each other's girlfriend, wives, all those type of things. So it's really a special fraternity, as we like to say.
So just to confirm, nobody threw any toy snakes at you when you got back to New England, did they?
No, but listen, in Detroit, they played a prank on me in Detroit when I signed there. They put a albino python in my locker where we keep our shoes. So literally my first day practicing with the Lions, I opened up in my locker where my shoes are, and there's this huge albino python in my locker. Scared the hell out of me.
That's great. That's great. Well, you retired from the NFL on July 26, 2011, and just 10 days later, you actually joined ESPN as an analyst. What was the transition like from NFL regular to behind the booth?
Well, listen, I had been, I knew I wanted to get into the media. I've been kind of prepping for that, probably like my last 3 years in the league. And so my last game, it was a playoff game against the Indianapolis Colts on the road. And I tore my Achilles literally the last few plays of the game. And I knew at that point that my career was done. I played 12 years. And, once that happened, I'm like, I'm not trying to go through that grueling rehab and then doing it all over again. And so ESPN had reached out basically the next day, was like, hey, we have a spot for you if you want it. And I told them, give me a month because I wanted to make sure that I was, 100% on my decision. I was 95% there, but I wanted to be 100% there. And so I took a month. I started rehab, and I'm like, man, the hell with all this. I can't go back out there. And so that's when I transitioned to the media.
That's outstanding. And you've been there ever since. You're loving it so far, I have to assume, yes?
Oh, absolutely. I get the best of both worlds. I get to stay close to the game without the physical contact. So, my wife really appreciates that I'm not out there trying to sling my body around and then she has to play nurse at home when she did for 12 years. So this is great.
Yeah, you're living the dream in my eyes. So on a scale of 1 to 10, you now know that, hockey's coming back to ESPN. How excited are you?
I'm very excited because like my guy, John Buccigross, who we call Bucci Man, he's like, all right, dude, like I've been seeing you bring the noise about the Islanders. I'm going to need you to come on some of the shows and talk some hockey with us. So I've been really fired up about that because, when you're fans of other leagues and you're able to talk about, other leagues, fans really get into that. And so you would not believe, like my timeline, like on social media, is probably like 60% NFL, and then the other 40% are like Islanders fans. They eat it up, the fact that, that I root for the Islanders and I'm all invested in the Islanders, go to the games, do events with the Islanders. I love hockey. The sport is so fast. I think that's the thing I love about it. It moves so fast, the physicality of it. And I'm excited about it this season.
So I have a joint question from a fan. Somebody had submitted a question that I had a similar take to. And at crisis_New York wants to know, might you be partaking in any NHL/Islanders activity with ESPN?
All I'm going to say is watch out. Watch out. That's all. I I can't, I can't let the cat out of the bag, but I would just say, just watch out.
You heard it here first. Damian Woody, ESPN's Islanders insider. Look out, Arthur Staple.
Arthur Staple's watching his back. Last question from John and I, and then we're going to get to a couple of fan questions. But we wanted to know, on the field, if you can compare yourself to one current Islander, who was that? Who plays like Damien Woody did on the field, on the ice?
Wow, that is a great question. I'm going to say Barzal, my man Barzy. And the reason I say that, because like I'm a big guy, but the one thing throughout my whole career, everyone said was like, dude, you move so well for a big guy. People would call me like the dancing bear. Like, you just move so well. and so the one thing about Matt Barzal is like, the dude really moves like he's a magician on the ice. Like, he moves so well on the ice. So we're not anywhere in the same area code as far as size, but I think as far as like our gracefulness on our respective fields and ice, yeah, that's a comparison for me.
Love that. That's great. Big time players showing in big time moments, moving real fast. That's outstanding. We're going to take a short break here. We're going to get back to Damien in just a few moments.
Additional support for this week's episode is brought to you by our friends at Manscaped. Manscaped is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming champions of the world. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched their 4th-generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, the 4.0. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code NHP20 at manscaped.com. Imagine shaving with a sleek, well-designed, and optimized trimmer that makes shaving time your favorite time in the bathroom. James and I are some of the first people to try the new 4.0 and are blown away by the performance. The craftsmanship and details on the 4.0 are next level. Manscaped engineered the ultimate groin and body trimmer by focusing on intelligent functionality and incredibly comfortable grooming experience. The 4th-generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. I now feel confident shaving the boys. The Lawnmower 4.0 even allows you to customize your trim through additional garter lengths with sizes 1 through 4. It's time to get your own with Manscaped to make me time the best time and enhance your confidence. Get 20% off and free shipping with code NHP at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use NHP20. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.
And we're back. And we're going to get to some fan questions now. A couple of fans on Twitter chimed in and they were excited to hear from you, Damien. So first one comes from @Unflinching, and he asks, the last postseason for the Islanders, you accompanied the boys to Tampa. Despite the outcome, how was the trip? And do you have any stories about, your trip down to Tampa Bay, and how was the flight?
Oh, listen, that trip was crazy. First of all, there was a huge thunderstorm, lightning storm in the Tampa Bay area. So we got diverted. To Jacksonville. Then we had to wait in Jacksonville for a minute, and then we finally got to Tampa, and we missed the first period because of the weather and just getting on the buses and working through traffic. We literally missed the first period, and so that sucked. But the whole experience was tremendous because, like, literally, Game 7 of the East with the Eastern Conference Final. Like, dude, like, who does that? Like, it was just amazing, and obviously the Lightning are a great team. Got to tip my hat off to them. I was talking so much trash about the Tampa Bay Lightning. Still am. For any Lightning fans out there, I'm still gonna be talking trash. But it was really great, man. So, like, that was an event that my wife and I we're gonna remember for a long time.
That's amazing. And did you have the chance to meet any players while you were there, or in your experience with the team so far?
Oh yeah, I've met a lot of the players. I didn't have an opportunity at that time to meet the players because we had to fly back out not long after the game. But like I've met a bunch of the guys. Met like Pajot. I met Anders Lee. Obviously, who was out for the year this year with the
Yeah.
ACL. Barzal. I met a lot of those guys, man. They're a great group of guys, man. And I was talking to them because I went to Boston College. Boston College is a big hockey school, and the football players and hockey players always hung out, and so it felt like old times, to be honest with you, hanging out with those guys.
That's outstanding. At SAB31NYI asks, what are you looking forward to the most with UBS Arena as a fan and also as a media member? Do you see the New York Jets building as a further, or I'm sorry, do you see the New York Jets building a further partnership with the New York Islanders?
Well, I do. I think the Jets have new energy with the new head coach, GM, new quarterback, and so I think the Jets want to feed off of this Islanders energy that they have going on. To me, the Islanders are the franchise in this area right now. They've had the most success recently of any of these franchises. So, I do think the Jets are going to try to latch on to that a little bit. And listen, the UBS Arena. I mean, it's a beautiful building. You know, I want to see what the noise is going to be like. That's what I want to see because I've seen how crazy the Coliseum is. Okay, what is a new building gonna look like? Sometimes with these new buildings, they tend to get a little corporate, and so I want to see if it's going to be raucous like the Coliseum.
Yeah, and I think you're spot on there, right? And I actually had the pleasure of going on a tour of the arena back in May, and I'll tell you this: the ceilings are just as low, and it's going to feel just as intimate. It's going to be loud in there, just the same as it was in Nassau Coliseum. So get ready for an upgraded loud experience. It's gonna be fantastic. At Ncanny2 asks, considering you spent most of your career in the state of Massachusetts playing for Boston College and the Pats, why didn't you lean more towards being a Bruins fan, and what made you lean more towards the Islanders fan?
I wasn't like necessarily that much into hockey at that point in time. Like I was young. I just didn't get into hockey at that time. It wasn't until I got here where, I started following hockey a little bit more. And then obviously the story I told at the beginning of this episode, this podcast, where the Islanders literally reached out, that kind of lit the flame as far as hockey is concerned. But, I've always told people New England is like my second home. I spend so much time up there, but man, I'm down with the orange and blue, man. That's it. It's orange and blue over here.
Love that. Love that. And our last fan question comes from at Isles Blog, and they asked, are there any ex-NFL players that have talked to you about your hockey fandom and any chance that you're able to recruit some of them to join in on the fun at Belmont?
I haven't had any ex players talk to me about that. It's really been a lot of my colleagues at ESPN. They've had a kick out of my fandom with the New York Islanders, and we got some fun things cooked up, man. That again I can't throw out there, but we got some fun things cooked up for the upcoming season, and I'm really excited for it. We actually Game 7. I was supposed to do a Sportscenter live hit right from the arena.
Oh, wow.
Down in Tampa, but because of the lightning and our delay, I wasn't able to do it. We had a whole special thing set up to do a Sportscenter hit from down there, but because of the storm and everything that happened, we weren't able to get it done. But we got some really cool things that's going to be cooking for this upcoming season.
Yeah, I can tell you, John and I are super excited to see hockey back on ESPN. We're excited to see how excited you are about it, and excited to see what's to come. It's going to be something special. Before we close out, John, you have any other questions for Damien?
I'm curious about other sports and their views on fighting in the NHL. Is that the craziest thing about hockey to you? I can just imagine as somebody that's new to the sport, you're seeing them punch each other just like bare-fisted. It just seems
in the game.
In the game, and they're just like,
playing.
yeah, 5 minutes, come back, do it again if you want.
Dude, like that part of the game is so wild and it's so fun to me because I always said like when you play the game of football, the thing I love about playing a game of football, I tell people I get paid to physically assault people on the field. You don't get that anywhere else. You know, anywhere else you're getting thrown in jail. But I get paid to physically assault another human being. And I'm just thinking, wow, in hockey, like they throw their gloves down and they just start throwing blows. Like that to me, it drives my adrenaline through the roof. I love it.
Is that anything like if you were in the NHL, do you think you'd be able to do that?
Oh, absolutely. If there's one thing that I would be able to do, if there's one thing that I would be able to do, I'm not saying I would be the most skilled guy on the ice, but I'll be able to throw some blows on the ice. I can tell you that.
There it is. Damian Woody's your enforcer. Somebody listening to this is going to get the new NHL 22 game coming out, create their pro, make it Damian Woody, and he's going to be an enforcer. Well, Damien, we couldn't thank you enough for coming on today. This was great. We had a great time. We definitely hope to do it again sometime in the future.
Guys, man, this was great. Thank you for having me on, and absolutely, let's do it sometime in the near future.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your summer, and we'll definitely talk soon.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
And that was Damian Woody, former NFL star and ESPN analyst currently. What a fantastic interview. He was awesome. And it's great to see that we have him on our side now. I love that.
Yeah, I'm excited for whatever's coming with him and ESPN regarding the Islanders. Sounds like it's going to be something fun. I mean, I love that they're doing hockey again. I'm probably just a little nostalgic. But yeah, he was such a nice guy. He genuinely likes engaging with fans and doing this whole thing. So super thankful that he took the time out to come on the show. And I was surprised about the fighting thing, I have to say. It takes like a special person to just be like,
he's a linebacker.
I guess so, but it's still different than being like, I'm just gonna drop him. Like he's like talking about haymakers or whatever. I know that was, I was just a little surprised.
I was surprised by the fact that he's actually a little bit more like Lou Lamoriello than he realizes. Because when we asked if he was going to be doing anything with ESPN and the Islanders, he said, "Just you wait."
I like that he's just involved in all aspects of it.
Yeah,
like
great.
he knows what we know. He's involved with the fans. He's trying to do the media thing. Like I love that he's mixing all this stuff together.
Yeah. And what better way to grow the game?
Yeah, give me to grow the game. It's just a different he's very obviously a fan. Like he seems like he really likes the Islanders.
Yeah.
So it's cool that he's bringing that excitement and charisma, and he's a known sports star. Like how often do the Islanders get a very relevant sports star to be on like part of their thing? They get, it wasn't because of him, but the Jets are also involved. Look, I love a good Ralph Macchio. I love all that kind of stuff. I think it's cool. Who's the guy from WWE that did the yes, yes, yes chant?
Daniel Bryan.
Getting him involved. It's super cool. I even
Kevin
love like
Connolly.
Rick DiPietro. Yeah, like Kevin Connolly. I love that. I think it's super cool. But like, Woody's a little different, man. Like I think, he brings a different charisma. He does have that media, that sports background, but it's not in hockey. He's getting that media experience. He's been doing it for a long time now. I love that. It's like, it's very fresh for this team. I think the mix with the ESPN and moving to the new arena, like it's really energized the fan base. And I think that he's both sides have embraced each other.
Yeah.
And it's really, really fun and refreshing to kind of see that. Like it was like other fans were like, come on, we got you. Like come into the community.
I love that, the new New York Jets that were newly signed to the team, like Zach Wilson and Dan Feeney, all those guys who went to the Islander game, he got to meet them for the first time at an Islander game.
And that was a moment for him. Like he had a memory now at the Coliseum.
Right. So and that what's so crazy about that is football that's his thing. And he got to do something related to his field at an Islander game. So that's just
hockey facilitated
so cool.
a cool
hockey
moment.
facilitated that. So
And
what a cool
I
moment.
think, yeah, I mean, the Jets being there, I think, is really cool too, because I think it showed, like, if I'm that coach or the GM or whatever, being like, look, this isn't the most talented team, but look at the success.
Yeah.
The Islanders as an organization and how they conduct themselves and everything is a good role model for a Jets team that's got to turn a corner, right? Like, the Islanders weren't shit before that.
Yeah.
So, it starts, there's a moment before the moment, and seeing that and seeing how the fans, and like, Jets fans are crazy too.
Yeah.
No fans in sports are Bills fans, but there's still like energy. And have you been to a Bills game?
No, but I've seen. Don't worry.
Oh boy, it is a moment in your life for sure. Craziness.
One of those things where it's like, am I gonna make it out of here with a limb, alive even?
It's interesting. I can't imagine either being a Bills fan or being an opposing team's fan and going to those games. It was interesting as a third party to it all, because I don't particularly follow football very closely. But it was very cool to see how passionate that was, like, on some other level. But people were like jumping off cars and into tables. Yeah, like, all right, I will say that is a real thing. I know you've seen videos.
Yeah.
I can tell you firsthand that is a real ass thing.
I've seen one on fire.
I saw people just lighting fires and then walking away, like, not maliciously. Like, they just wanted. It was, I don't know what like part of the year it was. I apologize for my dog barking. I'm sure it's a squirrel, but people were just like trying to stay warm or whatever they were doing. This is like 7:30 in the morning, because you get to this dirt parking lot behind a motel in Buffalo, like within walking distance of the whatever the stadium's called. Ralph. That sounds right. No, Orchard Park or whatever it is. In Buffalo, some dude just like lit a fire with a torch and just walked away. I was like, gonna keep an eye on that. Just like a canister of whatever propane, and just like walked away. I was like, great. This is a time to be alive. But anyway, yeah, football. It's like, if you're the coach or the GM of the Jets, and be like, look, this is how, like, the city will embrace you.
Yeah,
this whole thing, like, you can. Doesn't matter about the talent individually. Very Herb Brooksy kind of, like, come together, blah blah blah. But
I guess we can't really talk either, as we've been, and not you and I, but we've been a part of the experience where Islander fans threw tons of beer cans on the ice. So I don't know. I guess jumping through tables and stuff is worse. But we've also had our fair share of rowdiness.
Yeah, I remember, and I think I've told this story on the podcast, and maybe some of you listeners were there for the Game 6 in 2015. It was that was a moment. Yeah. People started, like, there was seats missing at the end.
Yeah.
I'm sure people were just grabbing whatever they could. They thought that was the end. And for all intents and purposes, it kind of was. It was a different Coliseum when we came back.
Yeah.
It was the same, because we were still in the same place, but it was updated. It was different. It felt like home, but maybe you had left for college and come back and your parents redid some stuff. It was home, but like, it's not how I left it.
Right.
But that was the same, like the red and green seats, and everything else. And people took some souvenirs. I remember, and people apparently this is a thing at other games. I had not known this before. So my first playoff game was against the Penguins. That was 2013.
Yeah.
And they had the car spray painted with Penguins colors outside, and people were just like, you could get in line to beat it with a hammer. And apparently that's a thing. I did not know that until I showed up.
Yeah.
And people were just like on top of it. Like, there's no windows, there's no glass, like, but people were just beating this car up. And I was like,
get some good hits in or what?
No, I did not wait. Their line was long.
Wasn't worth the wait.
I'm sure it was worth the wait. I would have liked to do that. It's kind of like those break rooms now where you just go break things. But
I want to do one of those.
It would be super cool to do that.
It'd be super fun.
But yeah, like, hockey fans can get rowdy like that. So again, the point is, cool opportunity for Damien and the Jets. We got there. We got there. We did.
Super cool opportunity for Damien. And what an astute response with the Lou Lamoriello question, right? He said, if you have guys like him and Barry in charge, sit back, grab a stogie, and relax. It's taken care of.
I
They're
think,
steering the ship.
and for other fans, if you made it this far, this is not a very long episode, so should have. That's coming. Like, that's not us saying relax. That's not
Right.
even. That's not Staples saying relax.
Agreed.
That's none of these. And not that. I mean, if you're here or you trust us with something, but like Staples, like around the team, he really gets it.
Yeah.
Compton or Jeff Capolini, any of these guys that you follow and you trust him, Andy Graziano or Buddy, Hockey Night in New York, whoever. This is coming from somebody inside the media, inside of a sports world that understands. It's been there. He said it himself. He's seen shitty organizations. I think he even said exactly that.
Yep.
I think it's really important. I think having some patience, really listening to what Damien said, I think that could bring us a long way. Granted, something's got to happen at some point, but if we already know, aside from a trade that'll happen, I don't know that I'm thinking about it all that much anymore.
No,
it's just kind of what it is. But take it from him. I think that's a really important lesson from somebody that really knows better as someone in sports.
Yeah.
So
couldn't agree more. I think that about wraps it up for us today, John.
I think so. That was super cool. I'm genuinely really happy about that.
Yeah.
Like he's a really good dude.
Yeah.
Hope he gets just super cool. Grand piano. Like if you're watching this and it's grand piano in the background, he's joking in the beginning before we hit record or whatever. Yeah, I'm like generally like this is a good way for me to end the day. Like I really love that we did that.
I feel like we could hang out and be buddies.
Maybe. I mean, it's like hockey fans. We're just we're gonna go on and on.
Yeah.
Thank you, Damien. Really appreciate it.
Of course, we want to say thank you to Damian Woody for joining us today. Great experience, great interview. Can't wait to have him on again in the future. We want to say thank you to DraftKings and Manscaped. Use that THPN promo code with DraftKings. Use that NHP20 promo code with Manscaped. We want to say thank you to the Hockey Podcast Network, the Hockey Writers, and of course, all of you, our listeners. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to or watch the show. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at Nasman Hockey, and find our work at thehockeywriters.com. Until next time, everybody, let's go Islanders.